If you have the Delta Cruzer or the new RIDGID dual bevel sliding miter saw, you know that the dust collection is, how would I put it, terrible. I've developed what I think is the simplest and most effective way to improve that, all without limiting the actual use of your miter saw. Let me show you how I did it. Now, I've been going to literal battle with my new RIDGID sliding miter saw to try and improve this, and I've tried lots of ideas. Like, a lot. Like, way more than any sane person would do, actually. But in doing that, I landed on what I call the Traveling Chute as the best solution. You can see here I've mocked up a pretty basic version that's kind of boxy, but it travels with the head of the saw in and out. And I should clarify, by best solution, I mean the best compromise with capturing as much dust as possible while not totally getting in the way of your saw and limiting its functionality. So right off the bat, I knew I didn't want to do saw in a box. Ideally, I wanted to use 100 CFM from a shop vac instead of an industrial dust collector. And in a perfect world, I wanted to be able to leave it on the saw during mitered and beveled cuts. Now, since landing on the Traveling Chute idea, I've iterated and tweaked it probably 12 or 15 times at this point. Lots of trial and error and lots of wasted filament until I finally came up with this, which I'm happy to say is now available if you want to buy one for yourself. Now, I'm selling the physical assembly like you see here, as well as the 3D print files and instructions if you want to make your own. Now, besides looking like a shiwi, if you don't know what that is, just Google it, the final solution looks a lot like what's on the Festool Capex saw, which is kind of widely accepted as having the best standard dust collection on any miter saw. So I probably could have saved myself a lot of heartache and wasted filament and time and just tried to duplicate that from the get-go. But you live and you learn. And the installation process is pretty easy. Simply remove the 2 T20 screws around the blade and take out the existing chute. And putting the chute itself together is pretty straightforward. Just attach the flexible flap to the hard chute section. Using those existing screws, simply install them into the new chute and put it right back in the same spot. I will say that during installation, having an extension with the T20 bit really helps because you have to install this with the blade in place. If you try and take the blade out and then install it, you'll never be able to get the blade back in. Then hook up your dust collection to the standard fitting on the back of the saw. Now, I did design an offset adapter that goes up to a 2.5-inch standard dust collection hose and clears this handle, which can kind of get in the way. And it's really just that easy. I mean, there's really not much to this. So let's fire it up, see how it works. Now, if you didn't watch the first 2 videos where I tested the actual stock dust collection, which again is terrible, you probably already know that. Let's keep that in mind as our baseline. Now here's the thing, does it capture 100% of the dust? No. But I mentioned a very important word at the beginning of this video, and that was compromise. Now, on top of the massive improvement of dust collection efficiency compared to the stock dust collection chute, this new design also lets you use a 45-degree miter, cut a full 4x4 without the chute getting in the way, and some bevel cuts. Now, unfortunately, you can't go full 45 degrees on the bevel, but you can do about 30 degrees, which I think, given how little most people probably do that, is okay. And if you did want to do that, it's literally 2 screws to take it off and swap back in the standard chute. The reality is that a miter saw is messy. Short of putting your miter saw in a room under negative pressure, under constant water washdown, and probably avoiding cutting wood altogether, your workspace is just never going to be 100% clean. But what this design does do is cut down the amount of time you spend cleaning and allow you to do more building. Now, all of this work on this design was done specifically for the RIDGID that I have and the Delta Cruzer. So unfortunately, it won't work on just any saw. But after watching many reviews and having a lot of my own experience, I think this might just rank up there as the worst dust collection for a miter saw. And that's saying something. If you've got a miter saw that you think could use a solution like this, let me know down in the comments. I've heard suggestions here and there, but it'd be interesting to see which one pops up the most. Once again, this design is now available for purchase, both as a digital download if you want to print and make your own, or as a fully assembled product that I will send to you. Check out the links down below or up above to the Shop Nation store to get your hands on one. Thank you guys so much for watching part 3 of what I thought was going to be a 2-hour endeavor to fix the miter saw dust collection for my new RIDGID saw. I will catch you guys on the next project, and until then, keep pursuing shop greatness.